What's up, guys? It's David here, First Time Magazine. This is episode 5, I believe, already, of the First Time Magazine ELF show. This week we have another amazing episode, 3 segments again. We have 2 interviews at the start, and then, of course, we're going to end with game picks with Jamal. As always, guests, co-hosts, bunch of things happening, so stick around through the whole episode. Let me start right away with introducing our first guest of this episode. He is a running back. He's playing out in Innsbruck. He has 325 rushing yards so far, which puts him third in the league, and 4 touchdowns, which puts him tied first. So, yeah, very excited to be interviewing this guy, of course. It is Tobias Bonatti. Hello, Toby. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm fine, thanks. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to interview you, man. It's first time meeting, so yeah, very nice to get to talk to you finally.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. All right, let's start with the first segment. First segment is going to be trivia. So we're going to ask you a few questions, and then we're going to do a couple, a little trivia, and then we're going to do also a little bit of an interview after that. So yeah, let's head off to trivia. Okay, so Toby, for trivia, how good are you with stats? Do you keep track of stats at all? Stuff like that?
I mean, I follow the ELF page on the social media account, so I always get to see their posts, but it's not like I'm checking on their official website and check all that. But yeah, I follow it a little bit.
Okay, so these are stats about yourself, so it might be a little easier because, I want to ask you, and we're going to dig a little deeper if you brush through them, and if you just do the top, like the first question, that's fine too. I have right here the top 5 most recent performances where you put up multiple touchdowns. So 2 or more touchdowns in a performance, right? In the last 2 years, so 2025 and 2024. And I'm going to ask you if you remember which teams did you have this performance against, right? Does that work for you?
Okay, works for me.
Okay, so going in whatever order you want to start naming teams that you think are the most recent performances that you've had.
Okay, the latest one should be against the Mercenaries in week 2.
Of course. Do you know your stat line from that one?
I had 3 touchdowns and I think something like 180 yards.
Yeah, 185 actually. You're underestimating yourself a little bit. So, yeah, really impressive performance. What's next? Who you got next?
What's next? Last year against Barcelona at our home game, I remember I had multiple touchdowns.
Yes, sir. You had Barcelona. Do you remember the week?
The week 6.
Yes, it was. Very impressive, Toby. Very impressive. Anything about the stat line as well, or is that too much to ask?
I think it was 196 yards.
Man, this guy does his
3 touchdowns.
Yes, sir, it is. 196 and 3 touchdowns. This one and the Helvetic Mercenaries one were the 2 top performances. Like, these were crazy. Almost 200 on both, 3 touchdowns. Amazing. Do you remember the other three performances? Which team they were against? Who's your guess?
I also had multiple touchdowns last year against the Mercenaries at their place. Yeah, I think that was week 5.
Man, you're crushing this. Do you know the stat line as well, or?
Nah, I don't know this. I think I had 2 touchdowns, but that's all I know.
It is 2, and it's 58 yards. Okay, so I have 2 more teams that you have put multiple touchdowns against in the last 2 years.
2 more teams. Let me think. Who else?
Different from the ones that we've already said, to help you a little bit, I guess.
Munich in week 4.
Yeah, in the comeback win. That was an amazing game. I'm pretty sure you remember that one very well. So, do you know the stats from that one?
I think 2 touchdowns, 80 yards. on the ground. I don't know, something like that.
80. Who? What are you saying? We're talking about Toby Bonatti here. This is 112 actually.
Okay,
Yards
okay. I
against
was surprised
Munich.
by that.
Better of a performance than you remembered. And then last team. Who's the last team?
Who's the last team? I gotta get that one too, man. Let me think. Stuttgart at home.
It is. Well done. That's all right. Do you remember the week as well?
What week was that? Week 7?
So close. Week 8. But you got
Okay,
the team right, so it's all good. The stat line was 28 yards, so a bit less, and another 3 touchdowns. Just impressive. It's amazing the work that you've been able to put in and do and show out on the field in the past few years. So
Thanks, appreciate that.
So Toby crushed it, as you can see. The trivia, we killed it in 5 minutes because Toby is just too good at this. So this means that we are giving away, in collaborations with the Raiders Tirol, 2 tickets to 2 lucky fans that are coming to this Sunday's game against the Madrid Bravos in the Tivoli Stadium. So yeah, make sure that you're joining the giveaway on Instagram. We have a post out that you need to comment on. You need to follow the Raiders, follow the First Down Magazine YouTube page, and yeah, make sure to come out at the games. We're doing these giveaways with multiple teams around the league to try and get fans to the games because it's so important, guys. Like, teams need your support. So yeah. After this, I told you we have a little bit of an interview though. So let's start off with the first question. Yeah, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first question I have to ask you. Everybody was talking about before the season, oh, the Raiders Tirol rushing game is crazy. Toby is, of course, amazing. And we've seen he has an amazing memory as well from the trivia. And then they have other 2 running backs. This is a 3-headed monster. Everybody's like, wow. And now I can tell you, after 4 weeks of the ELF being played, you guys have 3 running backs in the top 15 running backs for rushing yards. So incredibly impressive. My question would then be, what is out there in the water? What are they feeding running backs out there? How in the hell are the Raiders Tirol able to create so much talent at the running back position?
You know, I hear it a lot. What is in our water? What happens here in Tirol? But yeah, you're right. The running backs just keep coming. Even in our youth program, I already see young guys making plays in their age groups, and I can already see them in the future in the ELF or wherever. But I think the big thing here is with the running backs, we just have a culture who started long ago already, and we have a certain standard at the running back position, and we just keep on passing our knowledge, and we are always a good group of guys who work closely together also in the off season, and we're a group of hard workers. And yeah, as I already said, we have a certain standard and try to get the whole group at that standard.
Right. Is that something to do with Nick Kleinhansel as well, the running back coach out there? Does he do a particularly great job in helping you guys, or even the whole organization? Not even Nick, it's only Nick. It's from passing down that knowledge and creating running backs in Tirol.
So Nick was our running backs coach last year. This year's
Right.
running backs and tight ends coach is Terry Malone. He's a former Super Bowl winner.
My bad.
That's fine. I think the thing is that everyone has a certain part of our development. Like, I think every single year in the ELF now we had a different running backs coach, and everyone had part and passed on knowledge and helped us to get where we at right now.
So it's a group effort from the whole organization and the guys.
Yeah, right.
Well, I've given you flowers and praises. Now I gotta take it back down a notch. You know how it is, but you know how it is. So we have to address it. Unfortunately, the game this weekend, the Austrian rivalry, did not go your way. The result was not what you expected. My question would be, what happened? Not even much about what happened because we saw the game. What did you learn? What was the takeaway for the Raiders Tirol after playing Vienna?
Yeah, of course, the game didn't go as planned as we imagined it would. I think most important is that we keep our heads up and keep working. After watching the tape, we just saw we didn't execute well. We didn't do our jobs. We had missed assignments, a lot of missed assignments. Guys saw different plays, and just many mistakes happened. And we just gotta focus more. Just be there week by week, go 1-0 week for week, and do our job. That's all we can ask for each other.
Yes, sir. Were there, I know you're an offensive guy, but were there any steps taken by the defense in particular? Because this week you're playing the Madrid Bravos. It's another great team, and it's another very great offense. They have Andrew Weidinger leading them. They have Reed Sinet. They have Cruikshank, who's been killing it. Justus Seelig, who's been killing it. So do you know if the defense is taking a particular approach to the Bravos game after allowing such a big presence on offense to the Vikings?
I mean, first of all, I gotta say, we as an offense didn't really help out our defense last game. So we also had on special teams some tough plays who put us in bad positions. And at some point, it's just tough as a defense to hold the opponent. But I'm sure the defense staff and all the defense players, they have a plan for Madrid. I know they have a good offense, but I'm sure they're going to be prepared and make sure that they keep them kind of in, keep the offense down as good as possible.
Keep them at bay. So I have to announce, by the way, I'm driving up there from Italy this weekend. I'm going to spend the whole fucking Sunday driving to be able to watch that game live at the Tivoli Stadium, finally see the beautiful Tivoli Stadium. I've only seen pictures of it, so I can't wait to see it live. Hopefully the weather is nice enough where I can see the Alps behind and stuff. And I'm so excited to meet you and the other guys, of course. What's it like in playing with the stadium? Do you have a home advantage, in your opinion, with the amazing Raiders fan who are deeply within the team since the Svarko Raiders, even before the ELF, a huge history of great fans. And just as we said, like the stadium is beautiful. So what's the home advantage of playing there?
Yeah, the home advantage is big here, especially in Innsbruck. I mean, in general, in the ELF, it's always tough for the other team to have such a long travel to the other team. But especially in Innsbruck, we have a great home fan base. And also the Tivoli is a great stadium. In my opinion and many others' opinions, it's the best stadium in the league, and it's the most beautiful stadium in the league.
100%.
And I'm just hyped, man. I'm just hyped to play again in front of our crowd, and
Yeah, that's nice. Now I have to ask, the wide receiver core, right? We've talked about running backs. We've given running backs their flowers, but wide receivers are no joke as well in this offense. We have Philip Hahn, Marco Schneider, and of course Adrian Platzgammer as well. The continuity has been amazing at both of the positions, and the results from these wide receivers, the plays, the output on the field has been amazing. So yeah, what can you say about these, cousins on offense, I guess?
Yeah, we have a great group of receivers. As you already mentioned, all the names. Also, Marco Schneider, former Rookie of the Year of the ELF. And we have a lot of great guys who you can put in. It's just not just a single guy who makes plays. And I think we also gotta do a better job and getting them the ball more, because they can do a lot of damage to defenses, in my opinion. Nice.
Do you see from practice getting Perry getting accustomed a little more? Because we know he's played in Tirol before, but coming back on a short notice is never easy. So are you seeing him getting more accustomed and like being maybe more prepared?
Yeah, I think the chemistry is definitely getting better. Of course, it's tough. I mean, for the last game, he was only here a couple of days, and with a new offensive coordinator and all that, it's always tough if you come in new and only have a few days to prepare. But yeah, he's definitely picking it up, and the chemistry is going good, and we will be way better than we were last week.
Yes, sir. What about his ability to rush, though? We know he's a great quarterback, but what about his ability to rush? Because I'm not going to lie, I have you in my fantasy lineup this weekend, because my thought is if they have to account for Perry's abilities to rush as well, Nikhil Perry, they're gonna find a way to use that. Tirol is gonna find a way to use that to open up holes for the running backs, and of course, Toby first. Like, we know there is a three-headed monster, but Toby first out of the three. So, without giving too much away, are you planning on use Perry's ability to your advantage to create more opportunities for the running back as well?
Of course. I mean, Cozy is one of the best runners in the league and on the quarterback position. His agility is great, and also his top speed and everything. He does a great job in the pocket and avoiding defenders. And of course, we're going to use that ability too. And if he has to take off, he's going to take off, and makes the defense going to pay.
Okay. Last question I have for you is, you of course started playing under the guidance of Sandro Platzkammer in the Raiders Tirol in the first season that you played, starting in the ELF, because he was still there, right? He just came back from the States.
It was 2023. So 2022 was our first year in the ELF, and the second year he came back.
Yeah. So what are you still in touch with Sandro? How has he helped you become the amazing running back that you are right now? We know his brother is still playing with you. We just mentioned him earlier in the wide receiver group. Also an athlete as well. We saw him play quarterback when it was needed in the starts of the season. Amazing, the performance that he's put up at quarterback on a short notice and not even being an actual quarterback as per se. So yeah, just the influence of the Platzkammer family to the Raiders Tirol. And are you in touch with Sandro still? How has he helped you become the running back that you are?
Yeah, I mean, as I already mentioned before, I've been playing with Sandro together since forever, already in the youth program here at the Raiders. We played together, and later on in the men's team since 2016 until 2019 when he went over to the NFL. We played together, and already there we had this running back group going where we worked out together and all that, and I definitely learned a lot from him on the way.
Yes, sir. Nice. What about the Platzkammer family in general and their involvement with the Raiders?
Yeah, they're also like a big family name in the Raiders organization. As you already mentioned, his brother Adrian is still also playing for us. Great guy and a great player. Yeah. He even plays longer than Sandro. So he's part of the men's team, I think, since 2012. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And they also have a sister who is at the Raiderettes cheerleaders. So
nice. I didn't know that.
The whole Platzkammer family in the Raiders organization.
Nice. Okay, so the last thing I have for you is I need you to speak with the fans. First of all, tell them to join the giveaway because we want them to have the opportunity to come to the field for free for this time around that we're doing this amazing thing. And in general, try and speak to the Raiders Tirol fans, even to thank them for the amazing stuff that they do supporting the team, and to maybe bring more, tell them how amazing it is to be at the Tivoli, to watch the game in such an amazing stadium.
Okay. Hey guys, hey Raiders family, make sure to take part in the giveaway so you can watch us live on Sunday against the Madrid Bravos here at the Tivoli Stadium. It's an incredible atmosphere here, and yeah, you don't want to miss that. Make sure to bring friends, family, and whatever, and cheer us on, and let's have a great day.
Yes, sir. Nice. All right. Before we move on to the next segment, I want to take a second to thank you so much for joining me in this interview and taking time out of your day. And also, of course, wish you the best of luck against the Madrid Bravos this weekend. I will be cheering for you from the sidelines and hopefully meet you in person after the game.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you and have a talk with you.
Yes, sir. All right, now we're moving on to the huddle. This segment is the huddle. Of course, we're going to interview another player. We did it also last week with Reed Sinnett. You can see the handsome fella aside me is, of course, Joey Lindstrom, most beautiful voice on the commentary for the ELF. How are you doing, Joey?
Oh, come on, Davide. You're far too kind. That's that Italian hospitality you're trying to butter me up. I know your game.
Yeah. Now, let me introduce the guest, okay? I'm going to give you some stats to introduce this guy because he's been amazing so far in the ELF. We're talking about 28 reception out of the 32 targets he got. That's 87.5 catch rate. Outstanding. Some few zero stats there. And then we have 395 yards in 3 games, which puts him second for yards, and 6 touchdowns, which puts him tied first. Of course, I'm talking about the import wide receiver for the Nordic Storm, Brendan Beaulieu. Yes, sir. What's up, Brandon? How you doing?
How are we doing? We're doing good. Thanks for the introduction. That's quite awesome. We got a lot of guys around me that have helped me get those stats, and the team around me as well. So.
Yep. Well, how are you doing, man? How's it been the bye week last week? Have you done anything in particular for that bye week?
The bye week was nice. You know, we got through like the first quarter of the season there for us. Got through pretty healthy, so that's pretty good. Obviously, you know, Glenn went down the first week, but that didn't help us. But during the bye week, I was able to, you know, relax. I think a lot of guys, it helped a lot of our guys relax, recover, and get ready for, you know, Frankfurt. Frankfurt's a really good team, so should be a fun week this week, and we're excited to get after it there.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to have you, Brendan. And I just want to say before we get really into the interview, I just want to make sure, because Davide said it correctly, but Beaulieu is how you say your last name. I got caught in the first week where it's not the traditional spelling of how I know how to say Beaulieu, so want to make sure everyone knows it's Beaulieu. But I have you guys a ton this season. I think I counted 6 or 7 games of yours. So hopefully, just text me now we're meeting face to face. Just text me if I ever say anything stupid, because when you're talking to yourself for 3 hours, things can get hairy sometimes, especially when the game's a blowout. So, but appreciate you getting on and getting to spend some time with us.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
I want to jump to this question already because you said this. Since he's already struggling with the last time, do you have any like particular nickname that they call you on the field or something like that he could use for the commentary? Because he's commentating your game against Frankfurt this weekend. So
yeah. I mean, everyone just kind of calls me Bo here. It's the easiest thing to go by. I think it's quick, short. So it's just a shorter version of Beaulieu.
Nice. So we're Bo leavers, just like for Bo Nix in the Broncos.
Nice.
Okay.
Going with Bo leavers.
What's your favorite part about living in Copenhagen so far?
Oh man, the people here are just so friendly. And the vibes, like when it's a sunny day outside, you just like walk outside and everyone's smiling. You know, we got a little rain today, but with the rain, you gotta enjoy it, because the sunny days are really what makes Copenhagen, and the vibes here. I mean, the food here is really good too as well. So
yeah, what's been your favorite so far?
I got this little bakery right below my apartment called Juno, and that's got some really good pastries there. Man, I feel like I've tried a lot.
Yeah, I love Danishes. You know, you gotta. My family's Swedish, so we always get like the potato sausage. And you know, I know Copenhagen is famous for their like hot dogs, right, or something like that. They have those stands, or like obviously the Danish pastries too.
Yeah, I think a couple of those stands. I know they got a place to set up where there's a bunch of food trucks. I've been there as well. That's got some pretty good food. The open face sandwich, I haven't tried that yet.
Nice.
But I know that's one of the popular Danish foods.
Can a sandwich be a sandwich if it's open faced? That's like my mild take for the day.
What is it? It's a hot dog sandwich?
I don't know. I don't know if I believe in that propaganda. We gotta fall into Davide because we're both American. I don't think a hot dog's a sandwich.
No, me neither.
What do you think, Davide?
It's definitely not. A hot dog is a hot dog. It's two separate things. I have to ask you, how's the weather been treating you? Because yourself being from Minnesota, you might be used to colder weathers like that. But I can tell you, going up north from Italy, whenever I travel, so it always sucks compared to the weather here. So how's it been treating you?
Yeah, no, it's actually been pretty good. We came like right as spring was kind of ending, I guess. And I just had a really cold winter in Minnesota. So warm weather I thought it was really warm when I got here. And the guys, we were practicing, and I wasn't wearing any long sleeves, and the guys were kind of like, "What are you doing?" Like, we got Luke Glenn is also from Minnesota, and I was just like, "Oh, this is in Minnesota. It's a little nicer in Minnesota, but we're used to that kind of cold weather." Got lucky with the rain too. So,
and for those that don't know, like you went to school is pretty far north in the state, no? So you're way up there as well.
Yeah, Bemidji's way up there. I think it's further north than like Toronto, cities like that. So.
Yeah, you're basically in Canada as far as that goes.
Okay, so let's get into the interview. Before we get into talking about ELF, we need to mention you were, of course, with the Potsdam Royals the previous year in the GFL. You had, I have here, 1,647 yards and 27 touchdowns in 15 games. How was your experience playing in Potsdam, and in particular with the new super lights out quarterback Jalen Henderson, who's been killing it in Paris so far?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank David Saul, the offensive coordinator at the time there, Potsdam, taking a chance on me because I was a year out from college then. And just, I think it was a great experience for the first place in playing in Europe. The Royals, the organization there treated the players really well, and everybody around there. And then just being in Potsdam was really nice experience for me. And then playing with Jalen, man, he talk about a leader, somebody that's just gonna go out there and put on for the team, put on for everybody around you, give everyone opportunities to go out and make a play, and then build confidence in all his players around him. And I think we're seeing that in Paris right now. It took a little bit, but time. The first week, I mean, they have a really tough schedule, but I believe in him. He's probably one of the greatest leaders I've been around, and I think Paris has got a good guy there.
Yeah,
you guys don't play each other at all in the regular season, so maybe it's a future playoff matchup that we got to watch.
I hope so. Paris is a really good team, and it's been fun to watch them. So that'd be a fun matchup.
I think Jalen has like 4 or 5 different touchdown catchers already so far into the season, so that definitely he's already bringing what you said to Paris for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask you though, you're now playing with what's considered to be the GOAT quarterback of the ELF. Of course, we're talking about Jadrian Clark. How's the experience of playing with him been?
Yeah, Jadrian has been also great as well. I mean, he's a leader as well. Like, he's won championships, and he went to the championship with Hamburg as well. That's one person that I'll get behind, and I'll do anything for that guy on the field. He's great. I've kind of soaked in all the things. He's so smart, very football smart, knows a lot about football. And, I try to soak in everything that he sees so I can help him get to the spots that he needs to be in like, so we can connect, at that high rate.
Yes, sir. I have to put you on the spot now. I have asked these 2 questions. Who's the best quarterback, Jadrian Clark or Jalen Henderson?
Man, they're both great quarterbacks, and both have different skill sets. And Jalen's a great runner. I mean, he's been close to 100 yards the last two weeks rushing, and man, they're both great quarterbacks. Tough to answer because they both also throw great balls as well. So I'm gonna back out of that one. I think they're both at the top tier.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Schematically, though, you mentioned the different skill sets. When it comes to how Jadrian operates and how you guys have been able to work together so well in Coach Shoup's scheme, how do you feel like you're able to get free access, and where does that come from? Do you guys draw up plays together? Are you working on different things in practice to say, hey, this is a signal that Jadrian's going to give me, or is it always kind of by the book, and it's just worked out really well so far?
There's a little freedom that we have with between Jadrian and Coach Shoup and us, but we had to work on that. We had to prove that a little bit. But I would also say, like, this is the first time I've been in an offense like this, this more pro style kind of offense. Versus I've just had spread. Quarterback's always been in shotgun. I was a little bit more of I was a slot last year. So playing in this, we have had a great run game so far this year. Offensive line have done a great job. But wherever Coach Shoup wants me to line up, I'll go do it for him. Mm-hmm. And I know whatever we line up, whoever is going to get the ball, it's going to make us successful. So I trust him. He trusts us. So hopefully we can keep that going throughout the year.
And kind of a follow-up to that too, when Glenn Tunga went down, did you guys start to feel pressure as a receiving core a little bit to kind of compensate, especially in pro style, like running backs definitely benefit from that when you have some absolute Vikings on the offensive line? Not to be confused with the Vikings, you guys are just all Scandinavian. So how's that helped, and did you feel pressure when Glenn went down?
I think we, as a receiving group, we were always confident throughout camp. We were going to be really good this year. And Jadrian was going to obviously help us get there. Like he's, I said, one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best in the league. And our confidence throughout camp and throughout the season has really just continued to rise. And it was really unfortunate when Glenn went down, but we knew that, we got to pick the whole team up because of that. That's huge. He was 30 touchdowns last year. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of touchdowns you got to make up. So somebody's got to step up. And our running backs have done a great job as well, stepping in for him. And then some of the other guys, Eddie got involved last week, although it got called back. Theo was getting involved a little bit, and Simon's been stepping up as well. So it's been awesome.
Yes, sir. I have to ask you, because you are the only import on the wide receiver group. That's impressive, honestly, because a lot of teams bring E-imports in the wide receiver group apart from their A-imports. In general, you have so many great homegrowns outside of the wide receiver group as well. Who's your favorite homegrown on this team? Who's the guy that you're like, man, I love having him on my team?
Wow, we're picking favorites today. all questions.
Yeah. Man, Davide asks the hard ones. He's very pointed. I think it's I don't know if that's an Italian thing. Like Midwesterners tend to bounce around. We beat around the bush a little bit. Davide's like, who's the best? Who's the favorite?
Yeah. I got to make clips, man. I got to make clips.
Yeah. Simon Fonz, he played in
yes, is the name I wanted. Sorry.
He played in Potsdam last year, or 2 years ago, sorry. And played with Jalen as well. And I got to meet him while I was in Potsdam. And, I've seen his growth as well. He's been great to play with. He's a beast. He hasn't even really blown up yet, but it's coming. We've missed him on a couple deep shots, and they could have been huge deep shots on some of these games. But, like I was saying, Eddie, he's coming around. We're going to get him the ball a little bit more. Jacob Green, he's really good. He's Mr. Reliable, really. We've hit him on a couple of third downs. PO, our receiving group is all the guys are great to be around as well. So, but Simon being a Potsdam guy, our old OC, he would have loved to have both of us on the team.
That's nice, yeah. And Simon, he is low down in the past games, but in week one, I'm sure Joey calling the game remembers it too. He was in. We were talking about him as a deep threat, and then in week one, he just took a couple of hitch routes and just turned around and got 20 on both, or maybe even more than 20. So, yeah, he is a very complete player. Talking about complete, how complete is this offense? You lose Glenn Tunga, MVP from last week or from last year, and the wide receiver core is amazing. The quarterback, of course, is amazing. You have Adria at tight end, who's probably the best tight end around in Europe. The running back, everybody was scared after losing Glenn, but Channing's been amazing. So, yeah, how complete is this offense? How nice is it to play in such a balanced and complete offense?
I think it says a lot about our offensive line and our coaching staff and the guys on the team, how well we've been able to just kind of get over that little bump in the road there. Like you were talking about, all those guys, Adia, Adria and Channing, Anton, their other running back there. We kind of just put our nose down and said, we're not going to let this injury affect, how our season is going to turn out, because we still believe that, we can be one of the best teams in the ELF. So we just got to keep that going, and everyone kind of just took another step up to keep going and make this season hopefully, a very good one for the first season for the Nordic Storm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
What do you feel like has been the biggest difference as far as the DBs you played against from GFL to ELF now?
I think that all around they're a little bit better. I get to see 4 import DBs every day at practice, and I think a lot of them are a little bit better, more sound, I guess, better at tackling, a little bit better. And it just, I guess, more sound. The defensive structure is a little bit more sound.
Nice. All right. Now, the next segment on the show is going to be game picks, where we preview next week games and the guys from the insiders pick their winners. I can tell you a lot of guys are riding with the Nordic Storm this week, even though it's going to be a tough matchup against Frankfurt. But yeah, can you help us preview this game against Frankfurt? Because some guys are saying this is your first true test against a higher level team compared to, nothing to take away from the ones that you've beaten so far into this season. But yeah, how are you preparing for Frankfurt? What are you focusing on? It's long-lasting team and a great team at that. So yeah. Frankfurt
is a very good team. On defense, they got Battle and Tribling. Both those guys are great players, and then their inside backers are really well. They fly around. You watch the film, and they got 5-6 guys around the ball when they're getting tackled. They fly around. Very fast team, and their offense is also very good. So we just got to be able to take care of the ball, do our thing offensively, and then our defense has been playing really well. So hopefully they can maybe create a couple turnovers, play sound there. But this is going to be a good matchup for us this week, and I hope during this week we're gonna come prepared, strong, ready to go, and get a good game for the fans of the ELF.
How was it having the first home game last week? Do you feel like that made a difference, having the fans there?
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, 2,500 fans for us. That was great to have. They're really loud. Some of the Danish and Swedish support there. I mean, they sang the national anthem, the Danish national anthem, right away without any of the music going. So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool nice. Experience. They were really loud, and they had our organization set up a good setup around the venue, especially being their first time doing some things like that. I thought they did it pretty well. We had a guest artist, DJ. I think we got another one this week. So they've done a good job getting a good fan experience around the stadium and bringing people to, these games, these ELF games.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yeah, that's been confirmed, by the way. We did, I don't know if you remember, Joey or Brandon, we did a giveaway for a couple of fans to go to the first Nordic Storm home game. And I can confirm they got back to me and they were like, this was amazing. The experience was amazing. The game was amazing. So, yeah, congratulations to the Nordic Storm organization for creating all of that. Now, my last question would be, do you celebrate first downs usually? Which is a setup question for something else, obviously.
I think, you got to celebrate all the little things and the big things. So
really nice. So can I ask you for a first down celebration to include in a game?
Sure.
Okay.
We've already been warned. I will say we already have been warned about some of our first down celebrations as receiving.
Really?
No way, really?
Yeah. So, but
wow.
Okay. It's an easy one. So of course this is First Down Magazine. So I gotta give you a first down celebration. It's just, if you can, phone in your hand, couple scrolls, and the last scroll becomes a first down point. Quite easy to do. Can you bring that into a game? Maybe
yes.
Joey can go that out if he does it during the game. If you see it, call it out.
I'll do that. That one I don't think we'll get warned about. So
Yeah, I was no guns, no swiping. We know all
Yeah,
that is not permitted.
You know, I get 2 pumps like Hingham Kringleberry.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. That one you could probably get away with. As long as you can do it quickly, you can dial the phone and go home. That's the important part. If it takes too long.
Keep my finger down when I point forward.
Yeah, that you'll make Davide's week.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Thank you so much, Brendan, for coming on. It was amazing to interview you, and of course, best of luck for the next game against Frankfurt.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure being on the show with you guys. It was awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to the game this weekend, Brendan. We'll be sure to. I'll incorporate some bow leaving in there as well. We'll get it going. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's probably the top game this week, so gonna be really excited for the call, and good luck.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
All the fans tune into the game. Of course, you're gonna hear this beautiful voice that I said earlier, calling it, and you're gonna see Brendan making plays. So it's gonna be fun. Make sure to tune in. And now we are off to game picks with Jamal. Yes, sir. So that was an amazing interview with Joey and Brendan Beaulieu. And now we're here with Jamal on Game Picks, everybody's favorite segment. Yeah, let's go. Let's preview this week. How are you doing, Jamal?
I'm good, man. Everyone's favorite segments. Everyone comes to watch us to talk this week's games in the ELF and see what other drama we're about to stir up.
Yes, sir. So, what's the first game of this week? What's the first one that we need to break down?
First one we need to break down may be a shocker or surprise to some, and people are gonna wonder why. But Hamburg versus the Fire is a tricky game, right? And I know, me and you, unlike our counterparts, are rocking with Hamburg. So let me ask you, what got you to your decision to pick the Sea Devils?
Right. So first of all, I have to say, I felt like you this week because I sent the picks in for ELF Network. I do picks with the ELF Network as well. Shout out ELF Network. And the group chat started laughing at me for picking Hamburg, literally laughing at me. So I was watching right when I sent the picks, I was watching your stuff. It was like, hey, my guy, he predicted Paris winning against the Surge. He predicted this, he predicted that. And everybody laughed at him. I'm riding with him this time. So I felt more confident about the picks when you told me you were picking Hamburg as well. Yeah. I don't know. I really like the Hamburg team. I like the Hamburg defense. The offense, I think the rushing game is amazing. I love Crispy. And the passing game is coming into its own now that Taulia is getting settled into Europe a little bit. And a big thing is I'm seeing red flags in Rheinfire, and they don't have Dusseldorf Rheinfire written on them. It's just pure red flags. There's problems in many places from what I'm seeing. And I mean, you can see that the loss against Paris, they won in the 17-15, I think it was, in week 1. This was 31-7.
Yeah, they got embarrassed
at home at all. So yeah, I'm just at the same time kind of warned. I've been warned from the previous week for Paris, and then at the same time I'm liking the trajectory on the opposite way of Hamburg. So I just like Hamburg on this one. What made you pick Hamburg?
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot there, and I definitely agree with a lot of things that you had mentioned. I think, first of all, everyone's gonna look at the Hamburg Surge game, and I just want people to know, are Surge a better team? Yes. Are they that much better than Hamburg? I don't think so. I think that game was kind of an anomaly. I think obviously it was Tal's first game. Defense didn't play well. That game's gonna look a lot different next time those two teams play. But I look at this probably has more to do with the Fire than it does Hamburg. I think my only concern for Hamburg really in this game, I think they have a defense that going up against that Rheinfire offense, like that Rheinfire offense that scored, what was it, 7 points, and 17 points so far this season. I think Cologne may have scored more points than that Rheinfire. That Rheinfire offense, I feel comfortable with Hamburg's defense going up against that Rheinfire offense. Now, on the other side of the ball, it's really going to come down to Hamburg's offensive line because Fire up front are good. Their linebackers are fast. They read well. They read blocks and plays pretty well, and obviously, the back end. And one thing that also concerns me, I'm not even gonna lie, is Tala. Sometimes he may force some things or get a little too crazy, and at least the pick. Obviously, look at the pick that happened this last week.
Can't do that against the Ryan Fire.
Yeah, you can't do that against Ryan Fire. However, I think Hamburg matches up better than what most people think. I think if you look at what Paris did, and if you look at what Vienna did, they might have exposed some stuff, and it's really is that Fire offense. I don't think they really have an identity. And until we find out what the identity is, I'm always going to have concerns. So as much as concerns I have about Hamburg's O-line going up against the Ryan Fire defensively, I have just as much concerns about the Ryan Fire's offense going up against Hamburg's defense. So this is one of those picks where it's like, this could go either way. Like, are the Fire really about to lose 3 straight games and at home? I mean, we say yes. So we're rocking with the Sea Devils. We're ringing the bell for this game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, I can tell you all the other guys do not agree with us. And it makes sense. I was expecting to be the only one picking Hamburg. So it makes sense that all the other guys are going for Fire. But, yeah, a lot of alarm sounding. And, yeah, definitely upset alert for this one, for sure. Let's move on to the next game that I want to preview. Of course, sometimes, me and Jamal now, it's been a few years of recording stuff together. We're boys now. We're agreeing. We love to agree, and we also love to disagree. And we are disagreeing on Madrid against the Raiders. Why the Raiders? Do you really see them winning again against Madrid?
Yeah, this is one of those where styles make fights. And I think that loss against the Vikings, and I'm all over the internet. People have been reaching out to me about Raiders. Listen. I'm just calling it what my eyes are telling me, right? Yeah. And I'm just saying what you guys are thinking, but just aren't saying it publicly. That loss against Vienna is kind of what the Fire need to get back to what they do best. So I think the Fire are going to make this a physical game. They're going to run the ball. The Cozy is going to be a second game back, but Bonatti's going to get more touches. Again, pass game, we'll see what it looks like. But I think the Fire are going to try to get back to their brand of ball. And going up against Madrid, I said Fire. Yeah, I meant Tirol Raiders. Sorry. Yeah. I think the Raiders are going to get back to their brand of ball against Madrid. Madrid really has not been tested physically except that first game against Hamburg, and I call Hamburg to win that game. Unfortunately, they lost. But you look at that Hamburg game, that style of play, and then you look at their game versus Frankfurt with McKay and the mobile quarterback. I mean, I think this is a perfect get back game for the Raiders. Madrid's going to score points.
Yeah,
we know that. Madrid's going to score points. Vienna score points. So if anything, Vienna gave the Raiders a glimpse of what they need to fix going up against Madrid. And obviously, you can never count out Andrew. He's an evil mastermind when it comes to drawing the play. So he's going to draw guys open, right? Yeah. But I think Raiders, if they get back to that identity, and if they're the most physical team this week, they'll win the game.
Okay, so I can see why you made your pick now that you've explained it, but I'm still rocking with Madrid because, as you said, Madrid is going to score points. And my decision came down to, is the Raiders Tirol going to be able to stop Madrid from outscoring them? My answer is no. No, to be honest. The whole wide receiver core is amazing. Cruikshank is the top receiver right now statistically. Torre de Dia and also Juan Flores Calderon, amazing players. The rushing game is coming into its own now. C-League is looking scarier every week. So Reed Sinet's getting accustomed to Europe. I think Madrid is only getting better, and the Raiders Tirol don't have a good enough offense to stop this Madrid team good enough defense to stop this Madrid offense. So, yeah, that's what it came down to, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I think when I think about why the Raiders should win this game is exactly what you just said. They gotta run the ball. They gotta control the game. They gotta limit offensive possessions for Madrid, because Madrid, their offense is starting to click each week. Granted, the type of teams they played, I get it, but that doesn't necessarily mean like they're lacking in terms of developing, what the team's going to look like and getting into a groove. But Raiders have to keep that offense off the field. And how do you do that? You run the ball. You run the ball. You run the ball. You run the ball. You have receivers. Like Raiders have enough receivers where they could keep the chains moving. Right? Marcus Snyder, we saw what he did early in the season when he gets involved. Ja'Cory Sullivan, I still would like him to get more involved, similar to Terry Wright in Frankfurt, who we're going to talk about soon. Like, I would love to see those guys get more involved. But, I think the Raiders, again, if they take care of what they got to do, they're not stubborn, and they're not so predictable, they can make this a game versus Madrid.
Yes, sir. Well, you kind of hinted at the next game that we're going to talk about here. What's the game of the week, man? Let's just get it out the way. What's the game of the week? We kind of got a glimpse of what one team was about. We're still waiting to see another team play a quality opponent, right? But this, we're going to Copenhagen for this one. This is Frankfurt versus Nordic game of the week, right? This is Jadrian Clark coming off a bye week. Brendan Beaulieu, who you just talked about in the interview, one of the top leading receivers in the league. Great defense, great athletes all across the board. You look at McKay, you look at Plaskemmer, Amlin, free Terry Wright, right? Free Terry Wright. Paul Leinhart is coming into play, right? You look at Stribling, like Battle. You look at, Sebastian Gauthier going back to his neck of the woods in that area up north. Like, there's a lot going into this game. I'm excited to see how this plays out. Yeah, Nielsen as well, the offensive lineman, they weren't able to get him up to Copenhagen, and now he's playing against what the team he should be a homegrown for. Yeah, so you can all see from the picks, everybody is rocking with the Nordic Storm. All five of us are picking the Nordic Storm in this one. What made you pick the Nordic Storm, Jamal?
And people are going to look. I mean, I had people reach out to me. I'm sure they're reaching out to others, like questioning how good the Nordic is. And I get it. They played Helvetic, they played the Russell Panthers, and they played the Berlin Thunder, all bottom teams. I get it. Yeah. The questions are there. But the Nordic is one of those teams where you have to look at how the team is playing, not necessarily who they're playing against. This team has a lot of depth at every position. Maybe a little slim in the offensive line, but they have a lot of depth. They have Jadrian Clark. And I've said it. I said it in the beginning of the season. This is Jadrian Clark's league until someone takes it from him, because no one's been to more ELF titles. No one's won more ELF titles and has an MVP. So this is his league until they take from him. Defensively, maybe a little undersized in the secondary when it comes to the type of receivers that Frankfurt has. When you think about Kevin Kaya, Terry Wright, free Terry Wright. All right. When you think about that, really, how does Nordic stop the run game? Is Sandro going to play? Amlin had a good game last week, right? So So I think this game is going to be great. I'm excited to watch this game. I think Nordic pulls it off because as good as I think Frankfurt is, I also think they're one of the most inconsistent teams, or one of the top teams, in the ELF, because they could give you a game like they did with the Storm, or they could beat a team like Paris.
Yes, sir.
So we'll see how everything plays out. But I'm rocking with Nordic for this game, and I'm rocking for them I think Nordic's going to answer those questions that everyone has for them as of right now.
I think Frankfurt is definitely a great team, and we all know that. We've seen them play this year. I think there is a lot of questions raised about Frankfurt without Sandro after the game against Cologne. Cologne, Matt Bressington said it, not me. He's a bye week. So he called them a bye week. So if you're still giving up, what was it, like 15 or 20? I'm not sure, but double digit scores against Cologne. That's tough. Like, that's not something you want to see against a team like Cologne. I get it. You might have underestimated some. I get it. Cologne might have come in with an extra oomph because they're playing Frankfurt and there's been a rivalry there for a while. But at the same time, even in fantasy, man, I was so let down by the A-import with Frankfurt.
I was so let down.
Wright did like a 2.6. He's in fantasy jail. That's why you're saying free Wright, right? He's in fantasy. He's not playing on my team. He's in jail right now. So, like questions about Frankfurt. Nordic is coming, looking strong. we said in the interview, I am a Beaulieu lever.
Yeah.
So, yes, sir. I'm just rocking with Nordic for these reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, I'm right there with you. And I think if you want to highlight, a guy for this game or a player to watch for this game,
yes, sir.
This one's easy. We're going right to Jadrian Clark for this one. This one, and this could be a fantasy pick. This could be a play of the game pick. Like Jadrian is, out of all the active quarterbacks currently in the league, Jadrian's only lost to Jacob Sullivan, and he's beat Jacob Sullivan the past 4 times. So you can have, this is for everyone. You can have all the questions you want about Nordic. And granted, they lost Glenn Tungan, and we saw his impact. Hell, we see his impact with the Fire and what they're doing. But you still got Jadrian towing the rock back there, slinging it to guys like Brendan Beaulieu, slinging it to guys like Andrea Boteo and Simon Fons and Jacob Green. Like, they're deep at every position. I think Jadrian has a day.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. And with the schedule that they have, because Nordic Storm have a bit of an easier schedule compared to Paris, compared to Ryan, compared to other teams, I think Jadrian could be the first back-to-back MVP of this league if he starts putting up more numbers than he's already playing great. But if he keeps on going like this, maybe even improves, he could be the first back-to-back MVP. So excited to see what he can do against Frankfurt for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your pick for fantasy in this game and in general? Who's your must start in fantasy this week?
Must start this week. So obviously we talked about Jadrian in this game, but I think we're going to talk about a must start, and this is going to be ironic with how I've been talking about them lately. But I think Tobias Bonatti is a must start this week. I am telling you, the Raiders are going to run the ball this week.
Yeah,
the Raiders have 2 running backs hurt, so it's just
Madrid struggles against the run. Madrid struggles against.
Yes, the run. Madrid struggles against the run. Right.
Yeah.
Listen, I expect them to pass more than 10 times, which is what they did with Adrian Platzkummer when he was at quarterback. Because you got N'Kosi Perry back there. But I am telling you, when N'Kosi Perry's back there, you have to respect his legs. That's going to lighten the box for Tobias Bonatti in this game. My opinion, he's a must start, and I'm not thinking twice about it.
Yes, sir. What about somebody from maybe Berlin or Wroclaw, because they're playing in Throners and Cologne? Hey, I'm sorry, we just got to be real. And Throners and Cologne are not at the level of other teams in these leagues. Yeah. So what about someone maybe is Jacob a good start? Is maybe Berzozowski Berzo a good start?
Yeah, and it's until Russ Claw shows me that they're actually going to give David the ball like 15, 18, 20 times a game, like I will lean more towards DJ Irons or Darryl Stewart Jr. because there's no DB on Cologne. Take it for what it is. I don't care. There's no DB on Cologne that's going to stop Darnell Stewart Jr. this week.
100%. I fully agree.
Yeah. There's and DJ Irons, he can have passing numbers, he can have rushing numbers too. But, depends who you go at quarterback and, what the cost is. But, Darryl Stewart Jr., ain't nobody stopping him this week either.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Yeah.
All right. That was another amazing game picks. I think we got through it all, right?
We got through it all. One thing that I did want to say about Jadrian real quick, and keep this in mind, he's having an MVP type season.
Yeah.
13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I mean,
clean.
He's got to sling the rock, and he knows how to make decisions, when to make them quick, where to deliver the ball. So we'll see how everything plays out this week.
Yes, sir. And I got to say, when you have Beaulieu, he has 87.5% catch rate right now. Yep. He's not dropping a ball. He's dropped 4 out of 32 passes right now. So, yeah, very interesting to see how Jadrian is going to do this week and in general the rest of the season for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So, again, we got to the end of another amazing First Down ELF show. Thank you so much for watching. Obviously, leave a like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, share it with your uncle, share it with anybody. Locker room, leave a comment, join the conversation. As Jamal always says, leave a comment. Yeah, just tell us what's up. Tell us who you're starting in fantasy. Tell us if you're a believer as well, shoot me a message in the DMs if you see him do the touchdown celebration that we've asked him to do in the previous segment. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and off to week 5.
Week 5.
Let's go.